Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And yeah, it's over 100 again today, and reached 107 was the high that I saw. And it's going down now at 5 p.m. But the winds are coming up, 22 miles per hour, but that's okay. That generates electricity for me, and it cools things down a little. So anyway, wanted to get that out of the way. I have a little quickie to get over here too. Look, there's a solar panel in my living room. Oh, look, there's two solar panels in my living room. One solar panel and one empty box that used to house this one. All right. So, Harbor Freight Tools. 100-watt solar panel by Thunderbolt Solar. Okay, these are mono panels. They're not polys, they're monos. And they are 100 watts each, as you can see. So, let me cover something on these things. They do try to explain a lot on here. I was asked when I was coming out of the store, a gentleman stopped me outside and asked me, what do you do? Just put them on your roof and hook them up to your electrical? I said, no, that doesn't work. And you would not want to use these on your house. Okay, these are basically, well, just figure it this way. 100 watts, what's that going to run? Well, if you have a 100-watt spotlight on the corner of your house, it'll turn that on and then shut off right away, because you're going to lose power as soon as the light comes on, so you'd be below 100 watts. So these things are great for camping, okay, as they show on here. Cabins, campers, and tents. These are high efficiency and they're lightweight. They only weigh 15 pounds each, and they're pretty cool. So I was concerned, and I asked in store about the connections on them, what type of connections they use. And of course they use the Harbor Freight standard 2-pin connection, male, female. But that's no problem for me, because the reason I got these is these are going to go on my ore cart, the one that's going to be towed around by my new ATV if I ever get it. And these will be on the roof of the ore cart, making sort of a roof on there for shade, but also being able to collect sun power. Now, I wrote the number 1 on there because these things, in the paperwork that comes with them, they have a place inside where you can copy down the serial numbers that are on these things, like right here. And that's on a sticker. That can be peeled off, so that's not going to do any good. But I did copy the serial number onto the paperwork that came with it and marked it as number 1, and I'll do the same thing with the second one. Now I'll be hooking these up in series and increasing the voltage, not the amps, just the voltage, so that I can get more power for what I'm going to be doing. Most of the time it'll be running things like a little jackhammer, things like that. All right, so I will have a battery or two on the ore cart that these things will be running. But I wanted to show you one other thing. Okay, this is the box that has where the connections go. And I've already opened it up, it's just resting here. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to make sure inside they did not use MOSFETs for the connections to prevent backflow of electricity. Now, if you don't have these diodes in here, diodes allow electricity to flow in one direction only. The electricity can't go back the other way. So this will put these will charge and put electricity through your charger into your battery banks, But if you didn't have these diodes in here, at night after the sun set, the batteries would flow back to these things like they were light bulbs and draw 100 watts of electricity off of your battery bank. So you got to have diodes in there so that the electricity can't flow backwards. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that I checked in there, because some companies use MOSFETs in there. And if you do get one with MOSFETs, sometimes they'll burn out on you, and you'll think, oh man, my panels are no good, I gotta throw them away. No, don't do that. You can open up these little covers in here, take the MOSFETs out. You don't even have to take them out, leave them right there, just cut the connections and add diodes in, and you solder a couple of diodes in there and you're back in use. You got a good panel. Okay, so if you got anybody that's giving panels away that say they don't work anymore, take them anyway, because most of the times that's what it is. If you open it up, you see MOSFETs in there. The MOSFETs were the ones that burnt out on you. Alright, so the reason that I wanted to get this in today is because these are on sale at Harbor Freight Tools this weekend only for their parking lot sale. Okay? And they're usually like, I think, 149 or 150 bucks a piece. But they have them on sale this weekend only for $99. So those of you who are interested in getting a couple of solar panels for camping or just a little backup to recharge your battery packs or anything like that, these are a great little buy for it. Now remember, these don't come with anything but the panels. The only thing in here is the panels. And if you're going to want to connect it to a battery bank, because you can't connect these directly to your house electricity, that does not work. Yeah, you're going to collect these to a battery bank, and then you're going to go into your battery bank connects to your charge controller. Your charge controller connects to the solar panels. So you always hook up the battery first and disconnect the battery last. That tells the charge controller what voltage you're looking at. So anyway, if you're going to do something like that, they do sell charge controllers there if you don't already have one. They're all PWM charge controllers. I've got extra MPPT charge controllers here. Even though they're cheap Chinese hybrid things, they still work better than a PWM. So I'll be using those on this. And a couple of the batteries that I got from Andy will end up going in the ore cart underneath the seat that I have in there, along with the charge controller and that stuff, and that's going to be what powers my ore cart when I'm out prospecting. Alright everybody, just wanted to cover that. I got one little added plus before I close this off. I up-potted my tomato plants. I went from those little tiny one quart pots up to these 5-gallon pots, and I pruned off the bottom leaves of them, got them into some good soil. I added some bone meal and some 15-15-15 fertilizer down inside the soil, down low. And then I soaked them really good. And then I've been saving up my wood shavings from my planer, and I use that as mulch. I got 2 inches of mulch over the top to help hold the moisture in. All right. So one other quickie that has to do with the same thing, if I can figure out what the heck I did with it. Oh, there it is. If you do not own one of these, and it doesn't have to be this model, it's a 3-way meter. It checks moisture, light, and pH. So you do want to buy one of these if you don't have one already. They're not expensive. I mean, really not expensive at all. I'll put a link in the description on these things where you can get one. Okay, so what you can do is you stick this in and drive it down to the level of the, I got it set on moisture right now. You drive it down to the root level, and as you can see, the needle came all the way up. It's soaking wet. So that's where I want it to be, because I just did a transplant on this. Okay, now you do want to usually clean your probes after every test, but we're going to go right here. I'm going to switch it to pH, and we're going to go in one more time and check the pH. And there we are. We're just above 6 on the pH. That's the bottom scale. Okay, so that's where I want to be. Somewhere between 6.2 and 6.8 is a very good pH for the soil. So that's perfect. Then if I switch to light, it's telling me there's not much light. That's because it's late in the day and there's no sun shining in this room. But there is still a little light in here. And yeah, I do have tomatoes on these plants, so I've got to take good care of them. And I'm going to grow these indoors here where they'll be protected, because the heat outside has completely damaged my outdoor plants. I couldn't keep them cool enough, even though I gave them plenty of water. Just wasn't helping. And you got to remember too, if you overwater, you end up washing the calcium out of the soil, and your plants don't benefit from that. So anyway, just wanted to cover all of that before I ended. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget thumbs ups down there. Don't forget to subscribe and share. This is G Bear signing off.